Hi, boys and girls. Today, our learning goal says, I can tell what living things need to live. We're going to learn all about the needs of animals and people and what they need to survive by reading a text. So let's get started. I noticed that the title of this section says Animal Needs. And that's pretty important to me as a reader because it helps me understand what I'm going to be reading about. So if this section says animal needs, I'm probably going to learn about what animals need to live. So I'm going to get started. First part of this section says food and water. So this must tell me what the animals need to eat and drink. Animals need food and water to grow and stay healthy. Some animals eat plants. Some eat other animals. Still, others eat both plants and animals. And I look at this caption right here because that's important. It describes what's happening in the picture. And it says, a deer drinks water. In this area, it says air. Animals need oxygen, a gas in air. Land animals use their lungs to breathe in oxygen. Some water animals, like whales, have lungs. They breathe air. Fish do not have lungs. They use gills to get oxygen. And I look at these pictures, and they are telling me a little bit about how a black bear uses its lungs to breathe. And I have this picture of a fish with a label pointing to the gills, and it says a fish uses gills to take in oxygen from the water. So if I were to ask myself what this section was mostly about, and I go back into the text to find some key details about it, let's see what's one important detail. Oh, I see. It says animals need food and water to grow and stay healthy, and they also need oxygen. So they need food and water and air to breathe. What else did I learn? That other animals eat both plants and animals. Oh, I got it. And that land animals use their lungs to breathe and fish use gills to breathe. Those are the important facts that I learned. So I'm going to go over here to my main topic organizer, and in order to understand what that section was mostly about, I need to remember those key details, and I think that if I added those details up, it would tell me that that section was about animal needs. And then I come over here and I fill in those key details that I underlined. Detail 1, animals need food, water, and air to grow. Detail 2, some animals eat plants, meat, or plants and meat. And finally, detail 3, animals need oxygen to breathe. All three of those details support that section was all about animal needs. And that was my main topic. In this section, I see that the headings are telling me shelter. And so I must be reading about where animals need to live. Let's see what it's all about. Most animals need shelter. A shelter is a place where an animal can be safe. An animal may use a plant as a shelter. It may dig a hole in the ground. It may even use another animal as a shelter. One animal that does this is a clownfish. And don't forget to look at the pictures. This says kinds of animal shelters. A prairie dog lives in a burrow. A beaver lives in a lodge. So it's important to look at the pictures and read the caption so that we can learn more about animal shelters. Over here, the heading says space. And I'm going to read more to find out about space and animals. Animals need space to grow. They need space to move around and find food. Animals need space for shelter. They need space to take care of their young. Okay. So if I were to think about what these two sections were about, let's find some key details. Oh, of course, most animals need shelter and they need space to grow. Another key detail was that a shelter is a place where an animal can be safe. That's important. And finally, Finally, they need space to move around and be able to find food. I got it. So, using all those key details, what was that section of the book mostly about? Oh, it was about shelter and space. And how do I remember that it was about shelter and space? Using those key details. 1, animals need shelter and space to live. 2, a shelter is a place where an animal can stay safe and live. And 3, animals need space to move around and find food. And I can remember those things by going back and using my headings to help me. Remember, my headings here said shelter and my heading here said space. Those were very helpful to understand what the sections were about and how to find out what animals need to live. Great job, boys and girls.